We started a game we never got to finish. Play for blood, remember?
Brought to you by Colitico. PlayStation Network restores services after a lengthy outage. 8 hours to be exact. Imagine, if you will, you buy a console, which is always online, and to play your games, you need to have access, and your console service networks is down. Horror, fright. You only had a little bit of time. You didn't have enough time to play all day. The time that you had allotted for your video game, your hobby, has now been usurped by outage. Shame, travesty. Welcome to the life of a Sony player, a pony, if you will. Welcome to the life of poor security. But I digress. No, I'm just saying. PlayStation Network was back online after significant disruption that affected users across multiple platforms. The PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 4, alongside other users of older consoles. This wasn't just isolated to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita, every console was affected by this outage. They experienced difficulties in signing in and playing games. After approximately 8 hours of downtime, the PlayStation Network status now indicates the most services are operational. However, some players are still facing connectivity issues. They don't know what happened, what caused the outage. You know, social media went crazy trying to figure out, does everybody have that problem? When my video went live last night, people was explaining to me that PlayStation Network was down, and my response was that how typical, usually every time I turn around, that the PlayStation Network was down. The status of the PlayStation updates. The official PlayStation Network status page eventually updated to reflect the outage. At first, the page stated that all services was up and running. However, Tuesday morning, the PlayStation Network services showed ongoing issues in game and streaming section. You might have difficulty launching games, apps, and network features. We're working to resolve the issue as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience. The lingering message left some users wondering, will PlayStation Network be back up? While most services have been restored, sporadic issues remain, especially for those trying to use communication features. Players who are still experiencing problems continue to search. Is PlayStation Network down right now? Now, the impact on gamers. This is more significant to anything else. The 8-hour disruption prevented players from signing into their accounts, playing multiplayer games, or accessing certain apps. The PlayStation 5 servers down situation created a ripple effect across the gaming community. Players who tried to log in were met with error messages, which indicated the PlayStation Network is currently busy. The situation left many wondering, are the servers down? The problem also spread to social media, with users frequently searching PlayStation Network status on Twitter. Listen, these things are commonplace when it comes to the PlayStation, to be honest with you. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, Xbox goes down. I can probably count on my hand and leave off fingers how many times it was down during this generation of me playing. I'm trying to actually figure it out. I remember like one time specifically I had time set off to play a game. But in this ever-increasing world in which time is becoming a premium and video games hobbying is becoming a little bit more scheduled programming for yourself, this is unexcusable. And I'm not just saying that it's unexcusable because it happened to the PlayStation. I'm saying it's unexcusable as a gamer. Anytime us gamers do adult gamers get a chance to set aside time in order to game, we want that time to go through with no interruptions. Usually the wife and the kids are out. You have some time to yourself. You allotted this time. You got time off from work, or you just scheduled. I just got to get a couple of sessions in, and it doesn't go according to plan. It's not your fault. It's somebody else's fault. And we get more angrier when things that we plan to do go awry based on others, not yourself. See, we can deal with things when it's our issue, but when it's issues brought to us from others, that's when the issue takes on a cascading, devastating effect, a larger range of emotions, things that's out of your control. But again, let me know, how did it affect you as a PlayStation user? We have a lot of PlayStation guys that frequent my channel. Even though this is an Xbox-centric channel, you are welcome here. And I do appreciate your feedback. How did you game yesterday? 8 hours down, how did it happen for you? I didn't notice the problem because yesterday I used another account to get another PlayStation 5 Pro. So now my total is up to 4 PlayStation 5 Pros. I do want to know how many of you got a PlayStation 5 Pro. Was you able to log in? Was that service down? Did this have to do with them pushing ads on the whole PlayStation network all at one time and then seeing the feedback of doing so and having to automatically rip it out of the PlayStation network with little to no warning? Did that cause the outage? Because me personally, the two look like they're linked together. Bad press for Sony seems to go hand in hand lately. This isn't the Sony we know. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know how it is. We're going to run it up on these bumps. But at the same time, how's your security? I hope you have 2-password authenticity to make sure that you're warned when your situation has gone left when it comes to your PlayStation. Don't trust those dudes with your information. Put on 2-factor on your phone now. I suggest it highly.
You heard what Mr. Molly said? We top flight security of the world, Craig. Shit, not just the city, the world. Been jacked by Santa Claus, all kind of shit. They need security in the world, Craig.
And what can be only viewed as BS at the highest form in corporate speak? Sony PlayStation 5 game screen changes are a bug, says Sony. Absolute BS. Had it been no backlash, had no kickback, every major and minor outlet screamed in unison, this is not it. You've never had that level of backlash and you ripped it out. But let's go on to explain what I'm talking about if you didn't get a chance to experience it because your PlayStation was down at this time. Remember the two. Remember what I said. Users saw new promos in the game updates, even ads for other titles instead of the title screen art in their PlayStation 5 game libraries after a software update. The change to the PlayStation 5 players noticed that the cause of the promos for the YouTube videos, game ads, and patch information to display on the PlayStation 5 game title screen was a bug. It was being fixed, the company said late Monday. Players scrolling through the game library noticed a major change to the game system's interface. Gone was the home screen art in which you hovered over a game title. Replacing it was the patch information, new updates, and in some cases, advertisements for other games from the same publisher. Now, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say you got a Naughty Dog game. You have Nathan Drake. And then you see, when you hover over it, you see The Last of Us 2, The Last of Us remake. Don't you think that is something that is more in line with the intentional opposed to the accidental? Doesn't this excuse reek of something that you posted that you shouldn't have, and you've got extreme backlash, and you yelled out, "I was hacked"? This screams to me of I was hacked energy. A September update for the PlayStation 5 operating system appeared to have changed the way the game title screen displays. As a number of gaming sites pointed out, CNET confirmed on several titles with the PlayStation 5, art from each game was swapped out with information apparently pulled from each game's news feed. But the problem wasn't intentional, said Sony. It's never intentional, right, Sony? Instead, it was a bug that the company said already's been fixed. And as of some writing on the titles on the PlayStation 5, we tried with Star Wars Outlaws, have reverted back to its original state. A tech error with the official news feature on the PlayStation 5 console since has been removed. There have been no changes to the way the game news is displayed on the PlayStation 5. This followed up a since-deleted post by Sony product manager Daniel Hyatt advising PlayStation owners everybody settle down, is just a new bug with existing feature. You scrub your tweet to hide the facts. The internet never forgets, it always remembers. I'm telling you, they will continue to try to do things. I explained to you what was the next step. If the uproar wasn't too loud, and this is the first time I got to give kudos to the media, large and small, to the gaming community, big and tall. If you have a large voice, if you don't have one at all, I got to give respect to you guys for standing tall, because this is the point where if you don't stand up for something, you will fall for everything. And I've told you guys before, we got to use our voice. You guys stood up, used your voice, fought back, and pushed back on this. Be it intentional or not, be it a bug or be it an intent, it has been repealed, replaced, and pushed back. And I appreciate you guys for fighting as hard as you did, because this, I told you what was next, what was going to happen. What was going to happen was they was going to offer you an ad-free version of your dashboard that you get automatically. They was going to offer you for that for free for the minor inconvenience that you do have when you see ads. You don't remember when streaming networks were giving you the streams and then all of a sudden they added an ad tier, and then like the base form was ads? Something that you got initially had no ads, then automatically one day you went in and then it had ads, but then they came with a tier and a higher bracket for pay that allowed you to get back to your original state that had no ads. But now that original state is no longer there. That original state is the base state, which has ads. And now you can pay for the premium part of this service where it's ad free. I'm pretty sure Sony was heading down this way and y'all fought back. Kudos. I also saw somebody put in the comments, the whole Xbox dashboard is an app. Tell me you don't use Xbox without telling me you don't use Xbox. There's always a small advertisement on one tile that's on your Xbox dashboard that is never intrusive, never bothersome, doesn't affect your gameplay at all. And if you're talking about the pop-up screen that announces a game that's going to show up right there that you can click one button and move it out of the way, that's something totally different from a video. It's indication of if you do have a video game. Is it something that's intrusive for most? Pretty sure. But I also know it's not as egregious as this was. All right. This was preparing you for something else that was more nefarious and more diabolical in its procedure. Had you fell for this, I'm pretty sure that there would be an ad-free tier in your PlayStation user interface that they will actually try to monetize. Thank you guys for fighting back. I do appreciate each and every last one of you who stood tall, 10 toes down, who's part of the Xbox front line. Even if you're a Sony pony, we do need the cavalry. So ride out, jump on your pony's back, pause, and take them to the fight.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So I would like to thank everyone that was involved with this negotiation.